I cannot fathom why they didn't just keep Lucky as the original name.
Number 17.
Butts Ball. Let's take Pong and make it extreme and modern and awesome. That'll be great as an indie title. Now we just need a name. Well, I for one am immature, so let's mix butt and ball and call it a day.
Number 16.
Rex Nebula and the Cosmic Gender Bender. I don't even know where to begin here. The game is basically
It already
involves
sounds
a
PC.
planet inhabited entirely of
I mean, for the record, it's also gender bender anime, so this is ahead of the curve.
females, but they needed a form of reproduction, so they invented a machine that allowed them to change sexes for a brief amount of time, and they called it the Cosmic Gender Bender. So, I guess the game name is accurate.
Number 15.
Wargasm. War Ground Air Special Mission. Wargasm. Or rather, they thought Wargasm was a funny name and decided to make an acronym.
Can we just look at how beautiful this is?
Oh my god.
I know it looks so serious, and then you see that.
The title, you see the title, and you're like, huh?
Sorry everybody on Memorial Day.
Well, the guy who already made this title already had a wargasm.
For it. Of course, this isn't even close to being a comedic game. However, I'm pretty sure it pandered to the exact crowd they were looking for. 13 to 15-year-olds that only have two things on their minds. First-person shooters and jacking off.
I'm 20 and still find this shit funny.
Number 14.
I honestly don't know how to pronounce this. XEXYZ. I'm guessing it's Zexis, but then it could be Zexis.
There.
Maybe it's even Zexis. I'm stumped. It's not even a matter of ignoring the name and
Man
going
in
about my day.
spacesuit shoot
It's stuck out
things
like a
there.
sore thumb, and I can't look at it without being perplexed and mildly annoyed.
Number 13.
Peter Jackson's King Kong, the official game of the movie. Because everyone loves drawn out, unnecessarily long names that really could have been quite easily condensed into simply King Kong. I find it hard to believe that anyone would assume it would be based on the
movie
original black and white
is one of the
movie.
most expensive
But
movies ever
even
made
if
as
they
well.
would, that's exactly
I
what the
don't
cover
watch it,
art
though.
is.
The one
Number
from
12.
2005, we
Tongue
actually
of
have
the
it on
Fat
DVD.
Man. What do you think of when
Tongue
you
of
see
the
the cover
fat-
art and
Yeah,
hear
this
the
is
name?
Japan.
If you thought of
This
a
is
fighting
straight
game,
up
you're going to
Japan.
be both right and a cheater, because I refuse to believe that anyone could make
Oh,
this something
Straight up Japan. I can tell.
based on the two. Also, who could hear that and not be even slightly weirded out?
Number 11.
Beyond the Beyond. Yep, everyone loves repetition. I say everyone loves
It's a
repetition.
fantasy
I do.
RPG.
This title
They all
certainly
have it.
sounds like you're really going out of the bounds of your knowledge. Out of the bounds of your knowledge, I say. Yes, I really do. I'm sure this sounded nice to the Japanese. I'm sure it did. But don't you think it's clunky? Clunky is the feeling I got too.
Number 10.
Undiscovery. That's an infinite amount of things to not discover in this game. Doesn't that make you excited? Maybe it makes you want to stop whatever you're doing and rush to eBay in order to purchase the game just because of its incredibly
why you going
alluring
after
title.
so many
Because that's
anime
exactly what I
games?
did. But then I'm just a big nerd when it comes to not discovering things. So that could just be me.
Number 9.
Massive action game. They even omitted this overly descriptive name from the cover of the box. It just
And you can't play this anymore because the servers are down.
says MAG. It honestly sounds like a working title that they got too attached to for whatever reason. Although the acronym is pretty cool. But is it that hard to come up with something that isn't just blatantly descriptive? I mean, cool, you have a 256 player multiplayer on a console. That's impressive. But don't just call it massive action game. It sounds like the title of a video game you find in a video game.
Number 8.
Iggy's Wreckin' Balls. This title can be read one of two ways. Either Iggy has some wreckin' balls, or Iggy is wreckin' balls. And
Wait a
either
minute.
way, the name has some connotations that make it less likely for a
Wait a
parent
minute,
to
I
buy
might
the
have
game.
heard the name.
Even if this
Well, he was wrecking balls.
is 1 in 1,000 parents that don't buy it because of the name, why would you want to lose sales because of a poorly thought out name?
Number 7.
Super Army War. You can't get
Wow.
much more boring than this. The Super
Yeah, it
doesn't
is.
even come close to rectifying the boringness of this name, especially
Only
considering the
for the
multitude
Game
of
Boy
games in the
Advance.
SNES era with the Super prefix. This doesn't even
Which I
strike
still
me as
have.
a working title when making the game. It just screams, we don't give a fuck. And the worst thing is, it's not like it's from some far-off country. It's from France, the nation that is next door to the birthplace of the English language. It can't have been that hard to find someone to come
Looks
up
like
with a
somewhere
better
in
name.
this.
Number 6.
No, it's
Golf
more arid
Magazine
than that.
presents 36 Great Holes starring Fred Tucker. There is very little information
You just
related to
could-
this game on the internet, so I'm
I mean,
going to risk
some
myself
stuff-
for a
Oh,
second,
get
but
through my
the
head. I
Wikipedia
had to
article
close
says
my
this
damn
game has
curtain.
27 golf courses included. An illegal golf course has 9 or
Also,
18
I'm gonna
holes.
put a
So why do
request
they say
in.
36 holes?
Since it's
Are the
related
rest of them
to
terrible abominations that they didn't think were worthy of the title?
something
I
that
think that 36 was
our
a
guys
nice
didn't
number,
have to
and the players
die
would be pleasantly surprised when there
saving.
were more holes in the game. Because I
8
don't
dumbest
think
terrors
underselling
of
is the point
plots.
of marketing, but I could be wrong.
Number 5.
Clandestiny of Elise. The compound words are back with a revengeance. Not only do you
What in
have
the
clan and
fuck?
destiny, but you also have what I can
Hold
only
up.
assume is divinity at the end of
you may have heard of that one.
No, I'm just trying to. In case everyone hasn't seen the title. Yeah. There it is. Clandestine. Fuck. Elise. There.
do you have clan and destiny, but you also have what I can only assume is divinity at the end of the title, just to make it that extra bit special.
Man, it looks
This is
like
what
an
I can
indie
only
game off
describe as a
Steam or something.
clusterfuck of a name. Nothing redeeming about it.
Number 4.
Divine Divinity. Yup, Divine Divinity. It's not like some divinity isn't divine. This is just 100% extra divineness to go with your divinity. What else could you want? Now, I said that clandestinity was a clusterfuck, but
Oh,
this is
okay.
something
It's
beyond. I'd go so far as to call
Diablo
it
or
a
something.
clustered cluster fucking fuck. It's just that awful.
Number 3.
Space corn. Space corn. Did you think of growing crops on the moon or something when you heard
A
this? Me too,
text-based
because why else
adventure.
would they capitalize the C in corn? Turns out that this game is a text-based adventure with a pink unicorn.
Made in
I don't really know why you want to
2012.
play this, but it exists. It is on Steam, and you can pay actual money for this
Ah, shit.
experience.
Sounds.
Number 2.
Wild Woody. Yeah, Wild Woody. If that isn't a euphemism, I honest to God don't know what is. I mean,
Damn it.
it could be
Snickering
worse. It
at
could
this
be a
shit.
raging Woody, a gigantic Woody, a phallic Woody. The list goes on for quite a while, so
Oh,
it isn't the
the
worst name in the
MS
world, but it
Paint
most
graphics.
certainly is up there.
Number 1.
I'd
Touch
say a
dick.
Genesis graphics.
This is only the Korean title, but if it doesn't make
Oh,
you
what?
laugh, you have no sense of humor, and I don't.
Who hasn't seen this on YouTube?
I don't know.
Like in thumbnails
I
and
may
shit.
have seen it in a store years
I
ago.
like you anymore. They changed it in the English release, which is honestly a shame.
Damn
I
you
might have bought
sounds.
this just to put it on the wall. You can't get any more explicit than this. Adding a K doesn't change the sound. The proper way to pronounce it is in fact dick. But yeah, this would have been a total disaster, as only immature people like me would have bought it purely for the novelty factor.
Yeah, there we go.
Xbox One and the Wii U. You thought we were done, but how can I not talk about these monstrosities, each is horrible in its own way? You've got the Wii U, which confuses non-gamers into thinking it's simply another add-on like the Wii Fit. You've also got the fact that gamers learned to mostly
we
dislike the
still have
Wii
a
for how
Wii
few
U.
games it had targeted at the non-casual market. It's literally
I never
a
really
lose-lose.
got into the
Then you've got
Wii
the
stuff.
Xbox
I never
One,
bothered
which is short
with
to
it.
the X-Bone, which does not sound...
Original was still decent. I mean, hell, you could straight up like play GameCube games on it. That's like the main reason one would get it.
Oh,
And
really?
plug in controllers. So, yeah, I did that shit.
Yeah,
a
oh
lot.
yeah, the GameCube was a big deal for its time because of add-ons you could put onto it. So yeah, actually.
I mean, with the Wii, we just had.
And it was with the same company too.
Well, we had the controllers. We had some of the games, and hell, I played Madagascar. The game way too damn much, but yeah.
Unpleasant. And you've got the fact that almost everyone referred to the first Xbox as the Xbox One. Presumably they wanted people to call it the One, which is just horrible as well. That's
Bruh, Xbox One is dope. Well, I mean, mine is an old.
Do they still make it, or is that done with?
Oh, they're still gonna make new ones. Mine is just.
Yeah, they still make them.
Mine is from 2015.
Although there might be a chip shortage, so it might take a while.
No way.
Yeah.
You have Xbox One, which Sunset Overdrive came out. That was the best launch title they ever had. Freaking shit, Wales. Xbox One S. I knew my god brother had one. Then Series X. Then whatever the frick that giant rectangle is.
That's it for this countdown. And have a go.
You know what? Because I don't think I've shown this on stream yet.
What is it?
Return to Oz.
Ladies and gentlemen, behold the
We'll sit through this.
creepy and depraved, the bizarre creations not meant for the normal world. Embrace the twisted weirdness of freak show cinema.
When we think of the classic film Wizard of Oz, many of us think of the bright colors.
I still never
characters
saw
and
the
timeless
movie.
songs. But many of us also remember.
You know what's funny? We have the DVD, and I still haven't watched it yet.
It was probably a cheap one, probably a one that was a basic disc you could get anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, hell, the movie is that popular, so.
How scary it could be. The Wicked Witch, flying monkeys. It freaking opens with a woman getting squashed by a house. Nevertheless, the darker moments didn't take over the majority of the film. That's where Return to Oz comes in.
Oh man, you got the creepy music.
Released by Disney in 1985, seeing how they bought the film rights to the rest of the Oz books, Return to Oz bombed
there
hard
wasn't
at the
any
box
rights to
office,
them.
scared the shit out of most children
Yeah, I
who saw
didn't
it,
think
and,
so either.
in my opinion,
I thought after like 100 years it just became public domain and shit.
it's goddamn great.
I guess
I've
they
talked
knew.
about this movie a lot, but
I don't
never
know.
went into great detail about why I think it's so wonderful. Well, we're
think
finally
it was
gonna give
originally
this
by
creepy as shit
MGM,
masterpiece
or
the
was it
closer
Warner
look it
Brothers?
deserves.
MGM.
First off, the film is a
Although
kinda
Warner
sequel to
Brothers
the
may have
original,
gotten the rights
though
to
saying
it
it's based more on the continuing story
later
of the book,
years.
of which this is
They
a
would
combo of the second and third
Release
parts,
it on
Marvelous Land of
VHS
Oz
and
and
stuff. I remember
Ozma.
the ads. So.
Though they wanted to be different from the first film, there were two elements they kept. One was the people in the real world being represented in the fantasy world, and the other was the ruby slippers, which they had to pay MGM a fee to use because in the book, they were silver. But in an Oz movie, that just didn't sound right.
My ruby slipper.
No. My ruby slippers.
Bro, why do you
Elizabeth
need
Balk
ruby
played
slippers?
Dorothy in her first performance, and she is 100% believable in this role, and very easy to relate to.
Remember how we spoke? Not to talk about Oz. Why? Because it's just my imagination.
Because everyone thinks you's a crackhead, kid.
Whether she's curious, caring, or, as in the majority of the film, terrified as hell, you're always right along with her. It's nice, too, they actually got someone closer to the age of Dorothy as opposed to a 17-year-old playing a 7-year-old.
Yeah.
Which worked fine in that environment, but in this film,
I didn't
might be
even
a
know
little
Judy
too
Garland was
distracting.
17.
Though there is one line where I swear
time.
she channeled her inner
Actually, I
Dorothy.
think she was
No,
15.
Belina, you don't understand.
Didn't that sound
Either
just
or,
like
too
her?
tall for a
No,
7-year-old.
Belina, you don't understand.
Well, she was also a short woman. She was only 5'9", I mean 4'9" or 4'11".
Dorothy's family is concerned because she still thinks she traveled to a magical world after she got hit on the head. Concerned for her well-being, they take her to a doctor who recommends this medical breakthrough that'll fix her right up. Shock therapy. Don't worry though, it has a smiley face on it.
Well, hi, Gabby. What's up? Sorry about that.
Bruh,
Gabby, what are you
you
doing
was
in here?
about to shock a goddamn kid. How is this
Sorry about
not
that, Gabby.
the...
Can
Where the lawsuit? Oh my god.
Knows this must be his.
Gabby, come here.
Yeah, bet you didn't
I
think
can't
I'd
reach
see
the
one more
dog.
with Cuckoo's Nest representation here. Look at this. It's like something out of a Frankenstein flick. This is one of the first times I was ever taught as a child. Maybe adults don't always have your best interest in mind. Honestly, I make a strong argument. This was doing American McGee's Alice before American McGee was.
Yeah, it
It
was.
does have kind of a similar idea and does hit some of the same notes, just with less knife stabbing. And you know if this wasn't a Disney film, they'd allow that.
Funny thing too, still, rumors of an American McGee's Alice TV series. If that happens, I'm watching it.
The power goes out though, and one of the patients helps her escape, leading her to the river where she gets knocked out. When she wakes up, she's in Oz, and even discovers her pet chicken on the farm can talk now. By the way, I'm not sure how many live-action talking chickens I've
Oh my
seen, but
gosh.
I'll go out on a limb and say this is the most convincing one.
A chicken. Where's cow?
I've never been so wet in my whole life.
Whoa, too much information.
So, okay, no more of that haunting imagery. We're in the land of yellow brick roads and emerald cities, and nope, everyone's dead. Ah!
Okay, they re-released it under Warner Home Video because it's
All our friends
because
are
of
turned to
its
stone or
parent
even
company,
decapitated,
Turner
and the kingdom
Entertainment,
is
at that
filled with
time.
what many consider
Oh,
the
yeah.
scariest part of the film.
so it does make sense.
The Wheelers.
But knowing it's an MGM film, which MGM in the olden days
So,
were known for their
Torn on these
epic
characters.
films, and that's what they specialize
man.
at. They
Yeah,
don't
they're
have
pretty
the
freaky.
limelight
Everything from how
like they
they
used
talk,
to.
to how they move, to how they're weirdly
Except for
shaped is
distributing,
wonderfully unnatural.
James Bond films is basically
Before
where
film
they're
is
limited
relatively
to.
timeless, this is the only part that feels specifically 80s.
Hey, Gabby.
You know me, you know I
Gabby.
love my
Okay, I burn
No.
these dudes with freaking gasoline.
80s awareness, but these things look like they went through a Billy Idol car wash. They don't seem to match the
Yeah.
type of creepy that the rest of the film has. But I don't know. They get kids to shit their pants, so I can't complain.
What is it? I don't know.
Dorothy does discover some friends, though. A robot named TikTok, played by Howard the Duck, and Admiral Akbar. You just became my new favorite character.
What?
I am Tic-Tac, the Royal Army of Oz.
Jack Pumpkinhead, who is looking for his mother, and when he can't find her, asks Dorothy if she can be his mother.
May I call you Mom? Even if
This is just sad.
That's almost ewy, but works
I
just
mean,
enough.
also, apparently what I did hear about Jack Pumpkinhead was like he was just made, aka just born, and really his mother is quoted to be out there. Yeah, it's a bunch of weird ass shit. But yeah,
What, did she die in the process?
I got no idea.
She would have had to if he... Yeah, sorry.
Honestly, everything I know about Oz is straight up either from YouTube videos, watching the movie maybe hell if I know how long ago and I don't remember crap from it.
Probably
Or
analysis of it.
Yeah.
Up.
No, so it's
And
that easy of
a
a
creature made
film
from
to
random
follow,
things and
so.
brought to life by magic dust. I kind of love how excited this thing is just to suddenly be alive.
Can you flap your wings?
I don't have any wings.
Now?
Yes. I made a flying
Though with that voice
couch.
and being animatronic, I do kind of want to hear him sing the Haunted Mansion song.
What the heck?
Doors creak and the tombstones quake.
Oh, the graphics.
They go up against a pair of foes called
There
the
ain't no
Gnome King and
graphics.
Mombi.
This
Well, they were
was-
pretty
From the
bad.
Scarecrow and another
This was
magical
all
being
practical.
called Ozma. Both of them are menacing in their own way. The Gnome King is more friendly, slowly luring into a false sense of security. Why? Because it gives them the giggles.
Why didn't you just transform them all right away?
It's more fun this way.
That's
The
why this
environment
character is my
looks
favorite.
dark, too.
Mombi
yeah.
is the opposite.
Yeah.
She's an angry, screaming psychopath who treats the Wheelers like pets. And remember those headless statues? They were once human, and she holds onto their heads, switching them out depending on her mood. This is some freaky ass shit.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think you're...
It's not creepy at all.
I should hope so.
She plans to take Dorothy's head too once she grows older, so she locks her in a room until she decides to chop it off. By God, this movie is wonderfully sick. Oh, but you think that's
Glad
scary?
I
That's
never heard
nothing
it.
compared to when she escapes.
Neither have I.
She has to sneak into Mombi's room to get something out of there.
I mean-
it
And
leads
I
to the
and I knew
second
and I
scariest
knew
scene
some
next to the
certain
Wheelers,
obscure
if not
films
the scariest scene.
because we had again the drop-in gas station not far from us used to be also a corner VHS rental place, and you would find all sorts of
Toasted
movies there.
God! This is right out of a nightmare. Or if not, it will be after it's bulldozed into your nightmares. Parents may need to put on critters in order to calm them down. After they escape, they make their way to the Gnome King, who uses his rock minions, mainly stop motion, to capture them and, as mentioned before, essentially dick around with them.
You can go and inspect my ornament collection. Each of you has 3 counselors.
He says he'll give back the Scarecrow and all their friends if they can guess what random ornament he was turned into.
Gabby,
It's pretty
come here.
twisted because they're
Gabby.
given no clues. They'll turn into ornaments themselves if they guess wrong, and they have to go in one
But yeah,
by
Gabby came
one.
out of my room and I
Every
put her on
time
my
one
bed,
is
and I
called,
don't
it's
know why
like
she's
they're
in here.
marching to their death. And this takes over the majority of the third act.
And I have to use the bathroom because
Being
I
an
drank too
ornament
much
will
soda.
probably be hardest on you, Dorothy, since you're used to eating and sleeping and other such activities.
But the Gnome King is almost nice to them. Like he realizes he's being a heartless bastard, so he might as well
Make
make their
something.
final moments kind of pleasant.
And the family is all in the master bedroom watching something.
Don't cry. I didn't realize he meant so much to you.
It's such a feeling of dread that truly mirrors the Doctor in the real world, which, like I said, is played by the same actor.
Dorothy!
When Dorothy does guess the right one, I'm not sure I followed if this was a lucky guess or if something led her to the right path. The Gnome King goes nuts and, well, hell. Everything goes to hell. Literally. I think we are literally sent to hell.
There's way creepier, Beth. Believe me.
How many
I've
times
went
can you just
to
say,
panels
"Oh my
at
God," to
conventions
something?
of horrific
The climax
children's
is
films.
nothing but
Oh
stop
no.
motion monsters trying to eat them and people screaming at the top of their lungs. I refer you back to Oh My God. As you put together, this is the complete WTF collection, holding back very little when it comes to scaring kids. Oh, I forgot to mention, one of the Wheelers is turned into a sand sculpture and breaks to pieces. Screw the children, the adults are gonna have nightmares from this! So you might be wondering, why the hell would I want my children to watch this? It looks like the most terrifying kids film I could show them. Well, A, it's the most terrifying kids film you could show them. I mean, come on, that has to count for something. And B, well, we'll go into that after this. So, okay, you've heard me flip-flop in the past, saying some dark kids' movies are too dark and others need to be darker. So what is it that separates something from being pointlessly mean and something being justifiably mean? Well, the answer is pretty simple. The characters. If there are charming, sympathetic, interesting characters that can pull you through all this misery, then in my opinion, it balances things out. These folks are simple, but they're disgustingly likable. Dorothy is so good at being concerned, but standing up for what she thinks is right, even if she and her friends both figuratively and literally don't have a leg to stand on.
When we are here with our army to conquer you and force you to give it back.
You already sympathize with where she's coming from. You know she believes Oz is real, and we as the audience know, or at the very least, want to believe Oz is real. She's relentlessly kind to anyone who treats her like a friend. I especially love it when Jack causes their flight to fall apart, plummeting them to the ground. Even as they fall to their deaths, she still tells Jack not to feel bad about it.
Sorry, Mom!
It's all right, Jack! It can't be helped now!
It is impossible not to have your heart warmed by that. TikTok.
Excuse me?
Oh, yeah, I missed that joke earlier, very clever.
You have to make that joke, Morgan.
Even he's not that brilliant to mind. He's the bodyguard. He only
TikTok.
uses logic and deduction because he's a machine. In fact, sometimes when he uses it, it's kind of depressing.
TikTok's not even alive.
I have always valued my life.
My boss called me and I didn't realize it.
Can't you cry when you say that or something? Oh my god, that's so much worse. Don't cry, don't cry!
Oh
I
man, he's
also like,
on the
despite
wheel.
his strength, there's some things he can't do. Like he can't wind himself up so he'll shut off. Or he has trouble getting up. Maybe that way too. Jack is basically more of a lost child than Dorothy is. You can tell he misses his mother so bad that he'll accept any kind person as a replacement. You feel how scared he is to face the world without someone who's been around him his whole life. Despite that, he's still incredibly curious, kind, and yes, dim-witted, but in a way that makes sense. He literally hasn't seen any of the world.
I've been alive such a short while, and I'm afraid of spoiling before I've seen anything of the world.
And Gump, got a funny voice.
I may not last very long. I don't feel too well put together.
Okay, yeah, so he's not in this very long or even alive that long, but there is even kind of a charm to that. He talks about how excited he is just to exist, and in a strange way, even that's kind of relatable. You enjoy how much he loves anything new because it's his first time seeing it. He doesn't talk in great detail about it. If anything, his lines are very short, but content. He's a very content character, and that does make him very likable.
It was a novel experience, wasn't it?
None of these characters are super smart, super skilled, or super powerful. If anything, they have a buttload of weaknesses. But that's what makes their journey all the more engaging. The world is stacked against them. Everything is horrifying. The monsters have taken over their home. Yet together, they still succeed because of the simple strength of kindness. They work off each other and play to the few strengths that they have. It's nothing that new or mind-blowing, but we like them enough to root for them. Which means when they survive something really scary, it feels like a big accomplishment. If Blade was in this predicament, I wouldn't be afraid. He'd have their asses chopped up in seconds. He belongs fighting
No,
vampires and shit like that. But for this group of characters, these are the perfect obstacles for them to overcome. Even more so because of how threatening they are. So yes, even though I joke about how kids' films need to be tougher, there still needs to be a relatable heart at the center. Remember too, this movie was rated PG at a time when that actually meant you should have parental guidance. This has the same rating as Raiders of the Lost Ark. Think about that. I'm not going to act like every kid would like this, but it's worth showing if you feel like this is something they can handle. There's so much creativity, so much charm, and yes, so much intensity that makes the adventures so exciting. And it's a shame the director of this never went on to direct anything else, aside from a Clone Wars episode. Because I think he made something that was really unique and imaginative. Don't feel too bad for him, though. It sounds like he's had a great career in both sound and editing. On top of that, it sounds like it was a pretty rough production. He was even let go at one point because everyone was so unhappy with how things were going. I'm glad he was brought back, though, because I really think he made something timeless, creative, and terrifying as hell. This film has been growing a cult following over the years, and the more people I show it to, the more fans it makes. I adore movies like this that don't talk down to kids, that try to make their characters relatable instead of cool, and try to connect more to what's timeless rather than what's popular at the time. The effects are great, the designs are great, the story is great, the acting is great. When you add all that up, you get a great movie. I don't care if it's dark, it's the best kind of dark. The kind of dark that challenges your kids but rewards them with amazing imagination and creativity. Whether you're a kid or an adult, this is an awesome movie to check out. So much love and effort clearly went into making this look as detailed as possible, while making these impossible worlds and creatures come to life. Like I said, I can't pretend every kid will like it, but I think it's worth showing just in case they do. If they don't like it, nothing major is lost. But if they do, they may find a classic they'll remember for the rest of their days. No, it's not the original Wizard of Oz, but let's face it, it's a lot of the best parts. I'm a nostalgia critic.
Yeah, never a film that basically I'm never gonna wind up watching, but we're just watching the review of it anyway.
A Wrinkle in
By the way, screw you, Disney Channel, for beating the freaking ads of this movie into the ground. Like, even nights I came home from school, it was Wrinkle in Time in theaters.
Hello, I'm the Nostalgia Critic. I remember it so you don't have to. There's just something about nostalgic fantasy books. Whether they make good film adaptations or whatever Aragon was, there's always a part of us that has to see what the cinematic version of the most imaginative tales look like. And clearly the best director for a trippy sci-fi mind warp about children traveling to different worlds would be one who specialized in films about prejudice and race relations. Well, that turned out exactly what we got. Being admittedly an already difficult book to adapt, Wrinkle in Time tries to be that artsy kids film meant to open up your mind, but instead turns out to be that artsy kid that tries to open up your mind with his ultimate interpretation of Donnie Darko. Yeah, you all know that asshole, they made a movie like him. Based on the only kids' fantasy book you remember being more Jesus-y than Narnia, the adaptations for this novel have often been underwhelming, and this version is, well, not underwhelming, but how do I put it? Remember that very pompous ending to American Beauty where they say you don't understand our film, but don't worry, you will? Imagine that for 2 hours. But is there anything about it that worked? I mean, without the use of a slowly becoming legal substance? Well, let's take a look in more detail. This is the unsurprisingly bizarre, but surprising in the way it's bizarre, Wrinkle in Time. The film opens with Chris Pine and Mel Gibson's beard, showing his daughter Meg the ABCs of pretentious speeches.
Love is always there, even if you don't feel it. It's always there for you.
Oh, I remember this was advertised as well. Oh my god.
This is our life.
Yeah, and the thing is, as someone that literally watched Disney Channel for like freaking 6 years straight at one point, Yeah, I remember this ad like it was still going.
Not gone. It's
the ads
just,
for it.
it's just enfolded.
Gee, I wonder if that speech about love means he's gonna disappear. One gone dead later.
Tomorrow marks the 4-year anniversary of the disappearance of NASA scientist Dr. Alex Murray. There are still no leads in the case.
But perhaps the biggest mystery, why can two kids who can have screens in front of them literally through breathing listening to radio? As a pop song indicates, Meg is sad and often made fun of by mean kids who say such terrible things as
Esoteric Quest, how you doing?
You did it! You can call me every variation of the C word you like, but say hi to me, you better expect this in return.
Hi, Meg.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Trust me, we're seeing few high marks in this.
The hell Tommy doing?
Yeah, we made that on our way to make fun of the Terabithia
Okay, you really want to play depressing ass music? Play some Joy Division for your intro.
kid for losing his best friend. Our gang is called the Plot Devices. Anyway, what are you making fun of her for? This is the kid asking for it.
Did you hear that, Mac? You have more potential than anybody here. Mommy was awkward and funny looking at your age, too. And look at her now. She's beautiful.
And she never mixes my medications at all.
Also, I'm confused. Who's he talking about being awkward and funny looking? Wait, Meg is supposed to be awkward and funny looking? Oh god, yeah. By Disney standards, what a dog! I bet she is only on the cover of 4 magazines instead of 5. When will everybody learn that beautiful people are beautiful people? She gets sent to the principal for introducing the bully to basketball, because that's a problem the principal would deal with. And he tries to give some advice.
You can't keep using your father's disappearance as an excuse to act out.
Odds are, he's not coming back.
Oh, this is why I got the most emotionally crippling Principal of the Year award. Don't worry, things will make more sense when you get home, boy.
Your house is so warm. You've done a wonderful job keeping the darkness out. Call me Mrs. Whatsit.
I will call you anything you like as long as you don't touch my bathing suit area.
Don't worry. She's my friend. I called her ceiling sheets, guys. She's harmless.
Anybody who breaks into a house and touches kids like that is not harmless. She is on a list.
Have I ever been wrong? We might be Charles Wallace.
Oh, I highly doubt that. He's one of the greatest minds in recent history.
His personality's on par with Mandark, but still a smart cookie. I do hope you leave on a line more up your ass than your toilet paper coat.
Wild nights are my glory.
I'm really confident in my weirdness, which means I either escape from a place with bars on the window or I'm really cool. I'm not really cool. Hi, random boy from school. Wanna be a character?
I'm Charles Wallace, Meg's brother. You're Calvin, aren't you?
That I am.
What are you doing here?
I don't know.
I'm introduced 15 minutes in, I had no lines, and I had nothing to the story. But I do give this punchable look of whimsy every 5 minutes.
So what do you say, Calvin? You want to come with us?
Why not?
So, ever wonder if that crazy cat lady down the street was as insane as you thought she was?
Love without love is like a tree without blossoms or fruit. Gibran, Lebanese.
This is Mrs. Who, played by Mindy Kaling. Charles seems to have met her before and explains how she only speaks in obnoxious quotes.
She's just evolved past language, so when she needs to think, she cheats
Okay, I'm back.
other people's words.
Oh, that's evolving past language,
And then
huh?
tomorrow my mom's car's
Because it kind of
gonna
sounds
get
like you're
fixed
just not
this
smart
week.
enough to come up with your own words, so you use a famous quotes calendar to give the impression you're above everyone else.
The wound is the place where the light enters you. Rumi, Persian.
Hey, how about this quote?
You do not need to quote great men to show your
Hell
love.
yeah.
I realize the irony I'm using a quote to get that across, but I don't think she's smart enough to realize that.
Almost.
She was really
Why'd I
tired.
almost read that
It's
like
tough
Doogie
being that
Walker?
pretentious 24/7.
Seen Doogie
Back
Howser.
home, where Calvin gives more inspiring faces.
Is that his work?
As they discuss how her dad
God,
suggested
Doug.
that space travel can be done through the right frequency from your mind.
Rather than enduring the oppressive rules of time and space.
Yeah, I got his,
Wrinkles.
Tamara's, and
You don't need
Malcolm's all in
rockets,
one
you don't
shot.
need spaceships. All you need is to tap into the right frequency. You just need your mind.
What,
You have to
and
be
Rob?
really long-winded and act like you're superior
Maybe
above
they're
everyone
dead.
else.
I don't know.
Speaking of which, where's Oprah?
Wait, is this
boy.
Wrinkle? Oh, the remake. Yeah,
Finally,
this
a
sucks.
size and image that encompasses
Disney Channel wanted this to be the next.
Is that who I think that is?
all of Oprah's
Yeah, it's
ego.
Oprah.
Why be president?
No,
when
it's
I can
not.
be God?
I'm about to say, wasn't she gonna get into a trash can and get rolled down a hill by?
That was probably by Deborah Wilson.
Extraordinary thing. No human has ever traveled
He was
so
also on
far
Mad
out in
TV.
the universe.
We were all
I was
good on
thinking
Mad
about
TV.
putting him on the cover of my magazine. Just
I'm Kenny Rogers. Welcome to Jackass.
kidding, you'll be me again.
We heard
R.I.P.
a call
Kenny.
out in the universe. A human call.
Wait, he dead?
Call must have come from
Yeah,
her
he's
father,
been
so
dead
they're
for
there
2
to help
years.
find him.
We must find him.
Shit, I'm behind. But
Are you up for it?
Depends. Will I also look like Tina Turner exploding into Lady Gaga?
Find the right frequency and have faith in who you are.
Okay, that last part is bullshit, but Disney really likes to throw that in.
man, hey, Ashley, follow me on Instagram.
We did it, man. We're actually really very much so tethered.
You're scary enough far away. I don't need to see you up close.
The foot feels the foot when it feels the ground. Buddha, Napoleon.
Shut up or I'll stab you in the face with a soldering iron. Walk. Show me. They turn me to one of your desktop backgrounds as they get busy trying to find her dad or
No,
they
it's
look
not
around.
Reese Witherspoon. if I'm not wrong.
Actually, I get a lot of freaking backgrounds in this one.
The
Hold on.
only
I have
people
to look
who
at the cast. Hold on.
Chanting waste of time.
Or this
Okay,
is
you
Reese
pass up a
Witherspoon.
whimsical face.
Hold on. Where's someone else? Hold on. I am right. It is Reese Witherspoon.
We should
Okay.
talk to them. Everyone
It
knows
is her.
that flowers are
Okay.
the best gossipers in the entire universe.
I think even hippies would watch this and get a job.
Can you help us find him? They speak color.
Hey, that's funny. I speak finger.
I speak finger.
North of Avatar Park, so what this suggests they travel on her once she changes into
Ah, kill it!
Morgan.
vegetable gremlin?
Dang. Tucker, the American.
Eat
Where's
shit
the
and die,
rifles?
everybody everywhere. So they ride the Cabbage Patch Stingray and are so blown away at
Yo,
Oprah's
screw rifles.
magnificent
RPG.
Oprahness that they
Just say
simply
RPG,
have
Morgan.
to touch her.
Yeah.
That sounds like a joke, but
Takes
it
down
is
some.
all
It
too
takes down a
laughably real.
flying thing in one swoop, depending on the creature. But yeah.
Rocket propelled grenade.
Oh, my soul is filled with the need to hand out cards
I
to
mean,
mask
it
my
applies to
insecurities.
Godzilla physics, but,
Perfection
yeah.
lives in the cheeks
Also,
of paradise.
Erica may or may not want Andrew to volunteer.
This is where we grow the Jolly Green
At
Giant's
AMP to help
testicles.
out.
What, do you think he got that voice from singing lessons? But uh-oh, they
But we'll
lose one
see.
of their fox.
Because my mom's like, oh, Andrew, going with tomorrow. He's like, I am. I'm like, yeah. My mom's like, yeah.
Just get him to
Oh
work.
no, I'm gonna die!
Morgan, you can't work yet.
I don't care. I basically was hauling my ass when I was around in 8th grade.
Well, when Andrew turns 15, he can't work
on
on my styles, though. If I'm not wrong. That's what my mom said.
Babe,
Depends
I've
on
been
the job.
Babe, I've
Yeah.
been doing carpentry on and off since I was 12.
It's called Amazons,
Never
known
too
simply
early.
as the It.
I know I couldn't come up with a better joke, but I
Bruh.
love any excuse to play that clip.
Bruh.
Of course, he had to bring that
Love
Pennywise
looks
from
not
his
with the
8th review.
eyes, but with the mind. Shakespeare, British.
The ability to speak doesn't make you intelligent. The only good quote from Phantom Menace. They travel to Mordor Stonehenge, where they come across the Happy Medium, which sounds like a New Age kid show on Bravo.
Seriously, half of these scenes look freaking gorgeous.
Well, not as much as you, Zach, stunt double.
We are looking for a man who's lost in the universe.
Well, this one popped up right away, but give me some more information. They say they all have to think of Meg's father in order to locate
Stephen
him,
Baldwin?
but she can't because she doesn't see how that'll help.
I really don't understand
I mean-
how thinking about him is going to help
What a
us
shot
find
at him.
It's better when he ran into a wall.
Our flying vegetable ladies and 10-story talk show
Or no,
host that
metal
I can believe.
door.
But think of my father.
You do realize his daughter is married
They
to Justin
explain that they
Bieber?
need her father to.
Yeah. I know
Great.
that.
Now, basically, he's gonna wind up in a Pauly Shore movie.
Fight the it from corrupting mankind, and that gives her the courage to find him with just a happy medium. Wait, what happened to needing everybody?
Filmmaking. We make it up as we go along.
They see the father figured out teleporting, but got captured by the it. So they decide to go back to Earth to figure out a plan.
The
They
It.
fail to find her father is too strong, though,
The
and it
It.
redirects
Wow.
them to where
What
the
kind
It
of-
is.
Hey, it's a bit of things
The
we
Ages
got my
have no power, so they have
I
to
wish to God my sound effects were still on. Oh, well.
Here.
Now they
It's a
are.
place to be suspicious.
Now, this is especially disappointing because in the book, apparently they're revealed to be centaurs. But my guess is Heavenly Oprah would die before being seen as something such ungodlike. But I, of course, would not want to rob you of such an image, so here it is, Oprah Centaur.
We can barely test her ourselves.
Bruh!
Let's continue on without her. You must find
Yeah,
her
that
father.
was panned because it also
Like this, I
changed
really
a lot
love
of stuff from the book, and a lot of people did not like that.
Oh, shit!
Oh, thank you, Isabella
That was
Romero.
warranted. Hey, Isabel, how you doing? How's life?
So the
How's
It tries
things?
to chase our heroes down, but they escape via Kingdom of the Crystal Skull Fridge and try to figure out what to do next.
How did you do that whole thing with the log?
Just a
Did
Mama.
not.
Just a physics thing.
We actually saw Kingdom of the Crystal Skull in theaters, and Mom was like in the beginning of her first trimester.
Yeah, I just watched, I think we had on DVD.
Find a neighborhood, but quickly put together, it's a little too Pleasantville-ish.
Darling, time for dinner. Are you lost, children? I bet you're hungry.
We need this
We're having
place
fresh you
napalmed.
tonight.
I have
Yeah,
rice
it's Suburbia.
and potatoes and cakes
You know
of
what?
all
Speaking of
sorts.
Suburbia,
You know what? Where's the black hole sun? That's more painful.
the Suburbia
Come on,
mindset
we
is what
just
has made
told
this
her in a
country
place of pure
complacent
evil, what could
anyway.
go wrong?
I will say that.
You're not wrong, Heather. I live with... Or wait, no. My work program, there's a bunch of people like that, and it fucking pisses me off.
You're
Understandable.
telling me that gingerbread house is evil?
Thanks, we're good.
Cakes of all sorts.
But there are cakes of all sorts, guys! Swords! The neighborhood turns into a beach, once again trying to trick them.
How are you guys?
The man seems to know who they are and possesses Charles to follow him.
Thanks for everything.
You brought him right to us.
I'm beginning to think cakes of all sorts are crumbs of limited options.
Welcome to Central Intelligence.
Please, he is dangerous.
Shut up, Meg.
Yeah, shut up, Meg.
I can't
Did
do
I
shit.
really just hear that? They honestly just said, "Shut up, Meg."
Shut up, Meg.
Yeah, shut up, Meg.
Okay, well, I guess
Oh,
it's only a matter of
no,
time
they
before
got
Disney
Michael
would do
Pena
this joke
in
better
this.
Who the
Yeah.
hell is shooting fireworks?
Wait, what?
Out the parking lot.
I don't know. Go look.
Wait,
Foxes.
right outside your window?
Shut up.
I'm hearing booms unless there's a damn thunderstorm that just showed up.
See if
That's not supposed to happen till Wednesday. But yeah.
Meg.
what
Everybody
fireworks
lost that day.
or
Now,
Storm.
oh.
So
I'm
bad enough
done.
the strangers
Okay.
turned into
Ray,
a public
whatever
club
it
med
is.
host, and Calvin is stuck in permanent Mark Wahlberg happening face.
What? No.
But Charles's amazingly misdirected acting now has an evil spin as his possession forces him to talk more like a James Bond villain.
That's so like.
Well, you do. It does say for your area, scattered and numerous thunderstorms are expected on Wednesday. The storm predictions are from marginal to
Honestly, I
slight
can't decide
risk.
whether or not this makes things
So,
more awkward or if it
you're
just
in the
fits
middle.
right at home with his performance.
Watch your.
As far as the
tone.
risk category
Would you like
goes.
to meet it? Happy sadist.
This kid could give Minus a run for his money.
He's gone.
He's not gone.
I don't see him.
He suddenly turned from the most annoying part of the movie to suddenly the best.
Ooh. Clever.
Perhaps if you push back my bedtime, I won't have to push back your dead time.
Oh my
They use
god.
the glasses, though, to find a secret entrance to where her father is. Look out! A genuinely emotional scene! Even though this is a very touching and well-acted moment, I have to admit, I do kind of want Porky Pig to jump out and say that. For a number of reasons, the movie would stop. So the father is back, but that doesn't settle down Charles's acting at all.
I'm underwhelmed. I can see the weaknesses of any soul. Like, take your soul. So desperate to matter in the universe.
I want to bundle you up in a toy and call you My Little Hitler. No cakes of all sorts is worth this! Charles throws them in a dark realm where the It tries to tempt Meg to join him.
Take a good look at her. She's a better version of you. She doesn't have to just live in your imagination. I can make her real.
Oh my god, she's moderately better looking. Honestly, I kind of think she looks better how she is. She, of course, resists, and Meg tries to snap Charles back to his, quote, normal self.
I love you, Charles Wallace.
Don't make me somewhat aggressively shake you. It's mildly annoying! It, of course, works, and Charles is back as the missus return to give support.
Some of our best warriors have come from Earth. This is where we leave you, to become warriors on Earth.
Do you mean actual warriors or getting offended to feel superior on social media? She returns home in a beautiful yet weirdly long transition home, and the family is once again whole.
Your calculations. They gave us the universe.
I might have messed up a few parallel dimensions. It's a long story, but I think I have triple blood in me now.
Huh. I guess we're cool now for no reason. Let's go eat something.
Cakes of all sorts?
What is your deal?
I couldn't have done it without you, windowsill. And that was A Wrinkle in Time. All the right ingredients for the wrong meal with the wrong cook. In a weird way, I can see this being one of those trippy movies that kids look back on years later as a means of opening up creative ideas. But unlike other films that did that, like, say, Labyrinth or Fantasia, this isn't going to hold much value for adults. Visually, it's nice, and it's got some interesting concepts. I'll even go out on a limb and say the performances from everybody are good if they were just in more fitting movies. Charles's acting could be great in a kid's action film. Calvin's acting could be great in a Spielberg-style fantasy. Even the missuses could work in maybe a fairy tale type genre. But with the exception of the main lead and her father, who really do hit their marks perfect, everybody seems like they're giving their all just in the wrong project. Because of that, it's a little entertaining in just how misguided it is. I don't know if that's the director or Disney or whatever, but it's a fascinating muck-up. My guess is none of the people who worked on this are gonna have trouble finding work in the future. It just has to be a project that matches their talents better. As is, though, this is a crazy-ass journey through what the hellsville that didn't make me think, but it did make me smile.
Okay, and even though this ain't a full review, at least it's a movie I actually liked.
I think I saw this once.
Oh, I'll watch it. No joke, I love this damn movie.
The plot to Tomorrowland seems eerily similar to what the film actually is. The movie is about a place where every creative dreamer is taken and allowed to explore any creative idea they want with no limitations. Essentially, that's the film in a nutshell. A whole bunch of interesting and imaginative ideas with absolutely no limitations. But the thing is, you kinda need limitations. If not, you get kinda this disorganized, unfocused mess, and yeah, you can start to see where the problem is. The movie opens with a rather awkwardly unfunny introduction by George Clooney, who tells the story about how he used to be a boy genius. He creates a rocket pack, yeah, it's that kind of movie, I guess, and an android that looks like a little girl, takes him to that wonderful place where all creativity is welcome, Tomorrowland. Cut to modern day, where another little genius named Casey is given a pin that allows her to see Tomorrowland, but not quite get there. When she tries to look for more information about it, suddenly robots and all sorts of villains are chasing her down. The little android from before named Athena comes back into play, and she leads her to George Clooney, who in turn takes her to Tomorrowland. Why? Because he apparently created a device that could depict the end of the world. And guess what? It's coming up. But his calculations show that Casey might be the key in order to fix everything.
Oh, that's Britt Robertson.
An evil genius,
she
from making
is from the upstate of South Carolina, so that ain't far from
really
us.
Obvious ties
She's a
to its
local.
theme parks? Literally having the opening take place at one of their theme parks? I think you know the answer to this. Okay, so I'll start off with the worst part. The opening is awful. The writing, it's horrendously bad. This is so weird because this is a Brad Bird film and he's usually very good at directing
Oh,
this kind
dang,
of stuff,
yeah, I
but
forgot.
man, every line is about dreaming and wishing and whimsicalness and following your heart and all that stupid stuff you hear on Disney Channel movies just repeated over and over and over. Everything they say is like a mini speech, just nobody talks normal. When I first started watching it, I was thinking to myself, oh man, am I in for a bad ride? But luckily, it does get a lot better. Like when you do finally see Tomorrowland, it's very impressively done, and most of it just done in one shot. The action and comedy get a lot better too, with a lot of creative inventions and fight scenes. And on top of that, they start throwing in some really interesting ideas. For example, Clooney when he was a little boy falls in love with the android. Naturally, he's gonna get older and she's not. Also on top of the fact that she's an android and quote-unquote can't feel love. This could so easily be uncomfortable seeing a grown man like George Clooney kind of talking to this little girl that he used to be attracted to. But it's played just right so you feel more the tragedy of it rather than the creepiness of it. I know, it sounds weird, downright disturbing, but it's actually kind of handled pretty well. And as you guess, a lot of the ideas behind the technology is very inventive. The device that lets you see into the future and the way it operates is very cleverly done. Just watching it, you get a feeling like you could handle it. I love movies that work that way, like you feel like you could actually kind of operate these things. In the trailers, they show Tomorrowland. It looks grand and phenomenal, but in the movie, that's all you see. In fact, it's not even the real thing, without giving away too much, because actually it's kind of a clever twist. But when you do actually get there, it's very empty and lifeless. I know that's the point, but wasn't the whole focus of this movie to see Tomorrowland? We get one incredible long tracking shot, and that's it. It's cool, but that's the name of the movie, Tomorrowland. It should look awesome. On top of that, because there's so much going on and so much information thrown at you so quickly,
yeah, there was a
it's
lot to
kinda
absorb.
hard to understand at times. For example, Hugh Laurie says that the world is doomed, but Tomorrowland is going to be fine. Well, if that's the case, how come nobody's in Tomorrowland anymore, and how come it almost looks destroyed? There's also this great big long speech that's kind of explaining why Hugh Laurie thinks the world kind of should blow up, and I don't know, I can't tell if it's actually really profound or super preachy. Bottom line, it's so complicated you're still not quite sure what the motivation is. Now don't get me wrong, a movie that really wants to challenge you with some different philosophies and such, that's welcomed. But the movie literally opened up with a little boy creating a rocket pack and flying it around Tomorrowland. How are we supposed to follow this incredibly complicated philosophical technobabble? Is this a fun little fantasy or a super liberal that's trying to write out all his aggressions? Even the acting seems on and off. George Clooney sometimes can be very charming, but then other times his comedic timing is really off. Same thing with Casey. Sometimes she talks like someone her age, and then other times she just sounds so over-the-top whimsical and shoving the message in your face that's just irritating. The only thing that's constantly good through it is the android. They pick a really good
Actually, a lot of
actress to
people
play
have
her,
agreed
and
on that.
Yeah, she has to do some very complicated, unique scenes with George Clooney and this kinda not really sorta romance that was going on. But she completely pulls it off, and she's totally convincing. She's easily the best part of the movie. As for the rest, I don't know.
Well,
it kind
she
of feels
did
like
well
it's trying to be
playing
a
an
dark and
android.
gritty Meet the Robinsons. Except when
And
the
you gotta
message in
be
that one, while also
emotionless.
hammered in, was kept very simple. This one, the entire world depends on it. If everybody doesn't follow their dreams, we're all gonna be destroyed. It just seems a little too extreme for me. And much like the idea behind the world itself, I feel it does need limitations. It does need people to say, maybe not this, maybe we should try something else. It's a cool thought to see creativity just bloom and never be filtered, but I think the moral of the story would have been more interesting if it was showing that limitations are needed. Compromises are gonna have to be made. I'm still happy I saw it, if for anything else, just for a lot of these creative and unique ideas. But tone-wise, it's all over the place. Sometimes it feels very adult, sometimes it feels unbelievably childish, sometimes the effects are amazing, sometimes they're ridiculous, sometimes it's whimsical, sometimes it's boring, sometimes it's slow, sometimes it's too fast. It's about as uneven a film as you can get. Me personally, I like it when ideas are sort of dropped in my brain and can sort of fiddle around in there, so I can definitely take that from it. But if you're looking for a movie that's much more put together and easy to follow, sadly, it seems like it's another dream away.
I mean, I haven't even watched the movie since it got released, so, Still, honestly, too, fucking pretty cool movie. What in the oh yeah, your bill. Oh yeah, Heather. Planet Dolan has a new channel.
Oh wait, I've heard he did.
Yeah, Planet Dolan V.
Planet Dolan. From losing your terrorist funds by gambling online to blowing up your entire class during a suicide bombing lesson, we count 8 of the dumbest terror plots that failed. Hey there guys, I'm Denji Dolan's mysterious brother. I'm here to blow your mind with academic research, insight, and other dark magic. Number 8. Live TV can be intimidating. There are certain things you don't want to screw up while cameras are broadcasting to millions around the country. While I've never done it, I assume assassinating a politician is one of those things, but that's exactly what happened for would-be assassin Oktay Anamemedov when he screwed up his assassination plot at point-blank range in 2013. His target was Bulgarian politician Ahmed Dogan. Instead of accosting him in some dark alley, for some reason Oktay thought it was smart to do the deed live on TV. He couldn't get hold.
Wait, Heather, didn't you send me this like a long time ago or something? Well, not this video, this footage.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember now.
Of a real gun, so he went for a gas pistol which fires tear gas pellets instead of bullets. This meant he had to shoot him in the eye from right up close. He stuck the gun right in Ahmed's face and fired, but the pistol jammed.
Good.
Ahmed swatted him away like some fly, and Oktay was swarmed by an angry mob from the audience. Now that is a bad day at the office. Number 7. In 2013, Islamic extremists in England redefined stupid with an explosively dumb plan to kill civilians using sports ice packs. They planned to buy hundreds of ice packs using money received from impersonating charity representatives and construct a giant bomb using the ice pack's key ingredient, ammonium nitrate.
Yeah,
unfortunately for them, these ice packs no longer contain ammonium nitrate. Ha! I bet these assholes wish they'd paid better attention in science class now. Their plan was doomed to fail anyway, as they even bungled the extort a charity part of the plan, only securing enough money to buy a single ammonium nitrate-free ice pack. Clearly in the wrong career, guys. To change their fortunes, the 322-pound ringleader Chubbs tried online gambling, but one of Chubbs' cronies lost £9,000 placing dud bets and leaving the betting site unattended while making a cup of tea.
It was
The group was eventually caught and their entire legal defense was constructed around how pathetic they were. These fucking morons make Team Rocket look like criminal geniuses. Number 6. Terrorist schemes are usually foiled by the FBI with the help of anonymous tip-offs, but in this instance, the hero of the show was a little guy called Static Electricity. Salman Al-Tazi and Walid Ashibi were a pair of Yemeni terrorists who planned to blow up a national embassy with a missile. They set up base near the Cuban embassy and were in the final stages of preparations when everything went wrong. While walking across the carpet, Walid generated enough static electricity with his feet that their missile accidentally misfired. Instead of heading across the street for its target, it shot straight at Salman, killing him instantly. Walid himself suffered grievous wounds and died shortly after. Have you ever played a video game where you forgot to turn off the friendly fire? It's ugly stuff. Number 5. In 2007, some wannabe extremists finished their copy of The Complete Idiot's Guide to Terrorism and began preparing an attack on New Jersey's Fort Dix Army base. Unfortunately, they'd only skim-read Chapter 5, so they didn't get the part about not putting fucking incriminating videos in the hands of their enemies. The dipshits had been videotaping their shooting range training sessions with a camera they'd bought from Best Buy. That's right, Best Buy. Let's take down capitalist America by supporting capitalist America?
These people are also
anyway, they were also
too.
useless with technology,
They hate the West,
so they went to an
yet they use
electronic
that
store for help
technology.
transferring their footage to DVD. The clerk who
actually
helped
a
them was
cover
just
for
an
something.
ordinary Joe, but even he could see the gun-waving idiots shouting for jihad in the footage were up to no good. He reported the punks to the police, and with handy video evidence, it was easy to convict them of conspiracy to commit acts of terror. Number 4. Teaching a class of suicide bombers how to blow themselves up might not sound like rocket science, but apparently it's harder than it looks. At least it was for the instructor at a terrorist training camp in Baghdad. The instructor was teaching a class on bomb construction when the damn thing went off in his hands, killing him and all of the 21 trainees in attendance. Iraqi citizens called their stupid deaths an act of God and believed it was payback for all the innocent lives terrorists have taken. Number 3. If Osama bin Laden is remembered as the most dangerous terrorist ever, Mohammed Ashar may be remembered as the dumbest. Mohammed was a wanted Taliban commander in Afghanistan who turned himself in to authorities to claim the reward money. This idiot walked right up to a police checkpoint, pointed to the wanted poster featuring his face, and asked enthusiastically if he could have the finder's fee. I don't think anyone told him how wanted posters work.
Bruh.
Security forces arrested him and officials called him an imbecile and the Taliban equivalent of the Home Alone burglars. In case you're thinking that he was just some weird lookalike, officials took a biometric scan of him and confirmed that he really was the man they'd been looking for. Number 2. Australia's been pretty fortunate when it comes to terror attacks. Most of them have been pretty minor or narrowly averted. In 2016, this almost changed. 19-year-old Sevdet Ramadan Basim had plotted a deadly attack in the city of Melbourne. The plot involved explosives and a beheading and was set to be executed on Anzac Day, Australia's national holiday for commemorating fallen soldiers. Fortunately, his plan was an 11 out of 10 on the stupidity meter and only would have worked if this was a Looney Tunes cartoon rather than, you know, real life. The plan involved stuffing a kangaroo's pouch with explosives, painting the creature's fur with Islamic State symbols, and setting it loose on police officers. Police arrested Sevdet before he could enact his...
This dude was going to have suicide bombing kangaroos to do this shit. What in the...
I think I have heard this story.
I have not.
Years ago.
How in the... You know, I'm just moving on.
His harebrained scheme, which is almost a shame. It would have been cool to see a wild kangaroo beat the shit out of him. Number 1. We've all heard spiels about text messaging taking lives, but this Russian suicide bomber found out that doesn't just apply to drivers. The woman was hoping to detonate a bomb and kill everyone around her during a New Year's Eve celebration in Moscow's Red Square. However, while she was still in the safe house, an unexpected text message came in and accidentally set off her belt bomb, blowing her to pieces before she could make her political statement. Ironically, the message was from her
Let's just say you missed suicide bombing kangaroos and wargasms.
phone company, wishing her a happy new year. Well, that's it for this countdown, but catch you guys next time.
Yeah, the phone went off at the wrong time and she wasn't even in the square. It killed her instead.
Holy cow! What the heck is that?
It's Rick and Morty stuff.
Oh, this is really interesting.
I always ask
I'm gonna drop this for that terrorist lady.
And recently, I've been getting an overwhelming number of comments wanting me to check out the medical scenes on Rick and Morty. Let's just say I'm starting to
taste the rainbow, motherfucker!
see a trend here in these adult cartoons. Not sure what I'm in for today.
It was New
This
Year's,
is my first
so
time seeing
there
Rick
were-
and Morty. It's
there
an
was
animated
rainbow in the
TV show
fireworks.
on Adult Swim that follows the misadventures of a
Peace.
cynical mad scientist named Rick Sanchez and his good-hearted but fretful grandson Morty Smith. What type of madness are we in for? Before we get into it, my name is Dr.
How you
Jordan
doing,
Wagner.
chick?
I'm an ER
How's
doc that
things,
deals
man?
with every medical situation that you can think of. Gunshot wounds, COVID, broken hips, fireworks mishaps. I created this channel to answer the medical questions that I get from
I've
people
been
every
good.
single day. If you find this video helpful,
Watching dumb stuff as usual.
please smash that subscribe button and turn your bell notifications on. That way you learn when I post a new video. All right. Ready to watch some fun medical clips? Let's react to Rick and Morty. And a quick disclaimer, if it's a little vulgar or, dare I say, grotesque, remember, I didn't choose this.
Where am I?
Oh.
Relax, Mr. Smith. You're in an alien hospital.
Yeah, for the record, there's way worse of Rick and Morty than probably what he's gonna show, so yeah.
To you, it's an
Okay, first of all, I've never seen this before. Okay, this guy wakes up in an alien hospital with the doctor's wearing a stethoscope and a white coat, so we know he's a doctor.
Shrimply Pibble's life can be saved if we replace his heart with your...
What the heck? Shrimply Pibbles, I think is his name, needs a new heart, and they need a human penis be transplanted for this? This is absurd. Okay, that does not work. You need to go organ to organ. We all know this. This is crazy. Let's see where this is going.
The configuration of
Picture the
veins,
10
ratio
whoever
of thickness to elasticity, the
Oh my gosh, the way that
I'm never gonna get tired of whenever people drop a 10 that's gonna happen.
they're describing the
Oh, yeah.
elasticity of the tissue of the penis, the scrotum, and the shapely size of the balls. What? How is this going to be effective heart? But it's an alien, so I have no idea. Obviously, it's supposed to be funny. It's hilarious and totally inappropriate.
and with relatively...
I do like how the
Oh, come on,
imaging came
Ashley.
straight out
This
of
comes
his
from a
drawing,
medical
too.
professional. This is educational
into a
use.
functioning heart for the most important
This-
Except it's my show, and basically it's just for dumbass reasoning.
crazy. So his genitals can be molded into a functioning heart. I actually would like to see that happen. I would like to see them take the tissue of the genitals and make it into a functioning heart that actually can pump blood, if that is the function of the heart inside this alien creature. Typically, heart transplant to heart transplant. I haven't heard that often of a genital transplant, but I'm assuming if somebody had lost their genitals, maybe that there's a possibility that that could occur. Not my specialty. I'm an emergency room doctor. All right, Morty's an alien or something. Come on, Morty, fight it. Oh, man, holy cow. He needs to vomit this huge parasite-looking thing. Holy cow. I guess that's Rick is trying to tell him to pinch it off. That's typically what you say when you're having a bowel movement and you need to pinch it off. This huge, horrible parasitic type creature that is vomiting out of his body that he can't actually get all the way out. This has got to be horrible and painful. Obviously, I've seen a ton of people vomiting in their life. But the other thing we used to put inside patients when they had a bad overdose is something called the E-wall tube, which is a big plastic tube that literally you shove into someone's stomach to literally pump their stomach. Or if it's been more than an hour, but we still need to get whatever's in your body out, we give you medications to do what's called a whole bowel irrigation. We give you meds to poop it all out quickly. Unpleasant, but life-saving if we need to do that. Oh my gosh, it's going back in. I like how his family is like, when is this going to end? This is horrible. This poor guy. Why can't you just grab it with something and just pull it out? This looks extremely painful, but I don't understand how that large of a creature is inside this little kid. Anyways, that's really funny. Well, we already know he is not doing a complex math equation with his hands in his pants, and he's obviously watching something on his phone, and he was interrupted by this snake, which again seems a little inappropriate, but actually appropriate. He was playing with something else, but now he has a snake. So let's see what's going on.
Target acquired.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, more snakes killing other snakes.
I am a robot sent back in time by the snake resistance to protect you from Serpico.
Okay, all right. Come back in time to protect him against the snakes. Oh! Well, he killed the Terminator like snake. What the? That is awesome. So they just injected something right into his chest. Obviously, probably just injected something right into his heart, most likely epinephrine, which is actually a true thing that we do in the emergency department if we have to. We don't go through the bone and into the tissue that way. Sometimes there are emergencies where we actually have to crack the chest open, where we actually make a massive incision from the sternum all the way down to the side, stick this huge metal device that actually cranks open the chest. We can access the heart, and we actually do CPR to the heart. We could shock the heart, and sometimes instead of giving the epinephrine that we would give in an IV, we actually will inject it directly into the heart tissue and see if that will help. But we do not do what this just occurred or what happened in the movie Pulp Fiction, where you just stab the heart with epinephrine from the outside. I'm assuming the serpents that came down was because of what Morty was doing, which is quite funny. Okay, the animal hospital. Okay, pretty cool. All right, they hit a deer or a wounded deer. All right, I love it that the snake is getting its blood pressure checked. I don't even actually know where you would check a blood pressure on a snake. It's pretty funny.
That's
I hear.
horse surgeon.
Horse surgeon. I didn't know there's specific surgeons for different animals.
You know that a deer is closer to a horse than you are to a doctor. So let's save the measuring.
Oh,
when
man.
our dicks are out, it's time to save a life. Jeez.
Oh my gosh. Sometimes in the hospital settings, there are egos and emotions going on between doctors, but everybody is there to work together, okay?
This deer's wounded.
Yeah, I was there. You don't have to rub it in.
I mean, it's been shot.
Oh, the deer's been shot, not just hit.
May I help you, sir?
No.
Oh no,
Stop
deer
helping this
territory.
deer.
I took an oath that I would let no animal come to harm, except when sterilizing, aborting, or euthanizing them, or also when eating them.
That is true what the vet says. Okay. As a medical doctor, we take an oath to first do no harm to any of our patients. And I'm assuming vets take a very similar oath to not hurt any animals if they don't necessarily need to. But then what you said of euthanizing them or eating them. Eeh.
I'm calling my lawyer. I hope for all our sakes you're as bad a surgeon as I am a hunter.
In your dreams, bitch.
I like how the hunter was giving crap to the horse surgeon that she is.
This device
Okay,
extracts and
that looks like
redistributes
Star
muscle
Wars.
memory, giving your body a 10-year course in wasteland combat, one limb at a time. Ow! I'm working with a mixed bag here,
What?
so you may not have
Oh my gosh, super cool. Imagine this actually could happen. Okay,
Oh my
amputated
God.
limbs or different body parts, so you can take the energy and the skill from that and put it into another. Man, super cool. Look, look at that arm. Holy cow, it's got a mind of its own.
We're making some discoveries about
Super
muscle memory.
cool. Holy cow. Oh my gosh, it's like Mad Max Beyond the Thunderdome. All right. Wow, that is hilarious. Imagine he had all 4 limbs, arms, both legs. I hope one
That'd be
day
crazy.
we'd be able to enhance ourselves without maybe trade-offs of DNA manipulation, all that stuff, if you're otherwise healthy. But that's a whole other can of worms that we're not going to talk about today. Totally funny. I've never seen this before. The medical clips of this.
You know what? Why not?
From crazy crash injuries and other over-the-top medical
By the way, I just watched this.
injuries, Johnny Knoxville, Steve-O, and the rest of the Jackass crew are serving up a whole lot of mayhem and pranks in the latest installment of Jackass. That's why today we're reacting to and breaking down all of your need-to-know medical stuff in Jackass Forever. All right, let's dive right in.
Today, we're going to do a little furniture shopping.
Oh, that's definitely Johnny Knoxville. That's his grandpa
Yep,
character.
Irving Sisman.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh my
A lot of times you
God.
can get whiplash injury just from getting shot up. Typically major traumas we have to worry about anytime somebody falls greater than 3 times their own height. So that was pretty close. Hopefully he just landed on another couch.
It's literally my second day on the job. I fell off. Trying to take advantage of a defenseless old man?
I hope he's wearing a cup or his padding and then that was like in the scenario, because getting kicked in the gonads causes a significant amount of abdominal pain. The reason why you actually get pain that goes up into your stomach is because that's where they originated from. It is horrible.
I'm Rob Dyrdek, and this is musical chair bag. Yeah.
Someone's gonna get shot up. Yes, nice.
Oh
Exactly
my
what we were just talking about.
God.
You're getting
Yeah,
whiplash
Wee Man got shot in the hole.
injuries. They got one of the guys that fell on the ground was grabbing his neck right away. If you're having that much discomfort, you put a C-collar on. A lot of times you can also just leave yourself in a position where you're not going to move. Oh wow, he flipped up.
How did you go back?
Totally upside down. I love it.
Yeah, I landed on all that.
Oh man. He only fell double his height, but he's landing on objects that are sharp, not smooth, and literally can cause puncture wounds, can cause rib fractures. There's a lot of things that actually could then happen.
Hello, I'm Johnny Knoxville, and this is the Flight of Icarus.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh. Or would it
least
potentially
he
be
didn't.
better if he actually lands on a netting or an inflatable pad? Probably. Hitting water, almost like hitting concrete. At certain speeds and certain heights, so you gotta smack it super hard.
I felt like I got a 200-pound colonic up my.
It feels like water was just like driven right up his butthole. When people describe colonics, they're talking about types of different enemas. Sometimes water enemas, sometimes chemical enemas, where you're actually shooting fluid into the rectum to then have it come out.
Unfortunately, young Icarus got a little bit cocky. Sure enough, flew too close to the sun. Fell to his doom.
Oh, what a view! If you are flying through the air and landing on water, feet first. If he's wearing sneakers, that is good. You're protecting your feet. There's always a potential of causing calcaneal fractures, which is the heel bone. Force goes all the way directly up, so if there's any injuries to the back or back pain, you have to get x-rays of the whole spine.
So confidence is very, very high with our third contestant, Steve-O, for the skateboard guillotine.
What?
Wait, what?
Oh! Oh my gosh! You're hitting right on the tibia there. The bone is very dense and thick in that area. That's gonna hurt a lot. You could actually cause laceration to the tissue. We think of lacerations as cuts. Most of the lacerations we do see in the emergency department are actually compressive forces.
My name's Johnny Knoxville, and this is the marching band.
The marching.
Fun fact: this is the only scene that Bam was in before he got fired from the movie.
That treadmill is cruising. Man, this is a whole bad can of worms. Okay. Oh.
Oh my god.
You're getting whiplash injury. You're gonna get burns too. So luckily all of them are actually wearing this outfit. You can have mouth injuries. They can bite their own tongue. They can have their teeth pop out or break a tooth.
Oh my god, he's bleeding.
Oh my gosh! Could be a puncture wound, could be a laceration. Does he get a concussion? Does he have traumatic brain injury now? These are all things that I, myself, as an ED doctor, thinking about.
You know, you okay?
I feel like I'm coming back to myself, but I can't remember nothing.
Hey, there you go. We got Steve-O wearing a rigid seat collar. So those are like the classic ones that every ambulance carries. They are uncomfortable. They are kind of like a one-size-fits-all. Sometimes people who don't really have very long necks, you have to put them in a pediatric version of this. The idea is to keep everything still.
I didn't wimp out, did I?
No, you still got those $1 million teeth, that's for sure.
Sometimes you can't have a tooth replaced because the bone is injured or needs time to allow the bone to heal, so then you can actually basically screw in a screw and then have the tooth screwed onto that.
Hollywood has long put tremendous pressure on women to look youthful and sexy.
I'm Rachel, and this is Scorpion Botox.
Botox is used for many different reasons. It helps with wrinkles. It's helpful for people who have really bad headaches. Scorpion venom or scorpion sting is definitely another type of neurotoxin. Not sure what type of medicinal uses scorpion venom is used for.
Doc.
Oh!
Oh my god, that hurts so bad.
Holy crap. Oh! I work in Southern California, and we definitely see a bunch of different venom-type injuries, but the biggest thing we deal with are actually rattlesnake bites, and so we actually give something called Crofab, which basically is an anti-venom.
I am Johnny the Magnificent. Today I'm going to wow you with my supreme skills of prestidigitation.
Got a bull coming at him.
Oh, not the bull.
When Steve-O's face looks scared, you
This was literally the bull hit that would have almost ended Knoxville.
should be scared. Oh my gosh. Look how heavy this bull is and that amount of force.